Alright fam, today we're diving into something, well, super underrated watch theme. We will check a piece out with real utility, some deep horological roots and complications you just don't see in modern watches. This is the Corum Tides, with a reference 277.830.21. A 40mm nautical tool watch that isn't about style alone. It's about function. Produced between the late 90s and early 2000s, this watch combines mechanical engineering with oceanography in a very unique way, and believe it or not, less than 150 pieces produced in this yellow gold version. Now let's start with the basics. The Corum Tide sits in a 40mm stainless steel case, as mentioned, and it features the Corum's iconic 12-sided bezel, a design taken from their Admiral's Cup series. At first glance, it looks like a sporty nautical watch, but with a rich navy blue dial, red and white accents all over the place, and a set of nautical pennants that you see here at each hour marker, replacing traditional numerals. Unbelievably beautiful, super hard in production, and of course representative as a real tool watch. So these flags follow the International Code of Signals, true to the Admiral's Cup maritime theme. The case is well balanced, not too thick and not too thin. Look at that. And it does wear, let me just put it on my wrist. And it really does wear absolutely unbelievably comfortable on my wrist. And even though you would say, hey, this watch is from the 90s, man, it could easily survive in the Shark Tank of 2025 that we are right now in, with so many iterations and so many beautiful other watch designs. I mean, this Corum is unbeatable. Unbeatable. Now, it does look like a sporty nautical watch, right? It's great. I love it. I do adore it. Now, what makes the Tides model so special isn't just how it looks, okay? It's really not about the look. It what it does, guys. What it does. This watch features a mechanical tide cracking complication. Let me zoom that baby a little bit more in so you guys can get a glimpse of what this thing is really doing. And no, that's not a gimmick what you see here. It's actually working. The watch was developed in partnership with the Geneva Astronomical Observatory and SHOM, which is France's official hydrographic and oceanographic service. This is serious hardware, what you're about to see in the next couple of minutes, guys. This is not a joke. Not a joke. So, as I said, this is serious hardware for people who live by the sea, guys. It's incredible. It tracks 3 key functions: the time of the next high and low tides, the strength of the tidal current and the moon phase, which of course affects tidal movement. These functions are displayed across 3 sub-dials that you see here. Here are the sub-dials that are basically helping you to track everything. And unbelievable but true, these functions are displayed all across in one watch, laid out in a way that's a bit, I would say, technical, but still surprisingly readable once you truly get used to it, how to read things on the watch. Here's how it works. For example, once you manage to sync the watch with a known high tide time in your local area, it runs a 12-hour, 25-minute cycle, which mirrors the moon's gravitational pull and the shifting tides. As I said, unbelievable but true. The strength of the current is shown on a separate gauge, giving you an idea of how aggressive the water movement will be. All right? Now, combine that with the moon phase, see? And you have a legitimate marine instrument on your wrist, one that doesn't rely on GPS, Bluetooth, or any other apps. It basically is one of the first apps ever created. I mean, multifunctional apps ever created. It's pure mechanical ingenuity. Inside the case is the Corum caliber CO277, which is based on a reliable ETA 2892 movement. But here's the catch, here's the thing, guys. It's not just an ETA movement with a moon phase slapped on. No. Corum heavily modified the movement with an in-house module that drives the tidal complications. This module alone adds over 40 additional parts to the movement. Now, the watch is automatic, beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and has a power reserve of about, approximately 42 hours. Even by today's standards, guys, 2025, that's impressive. And in the late 90s, it was borderline revolutionary. Look, and I'm holding a piece in my hand, showing it to you in the camera. Same as you guys cannot believe it. Same as with me. Ah, man, I'm really happy about it. Now, the case back on this model is solid steel and typically engraved with the wave patterns or information about the tides, depending on the edition. And usually, if you are a seafarer out there, you like to, conquer the sea and everything, you usually have here also your phone number in case you need to be rescued. So this is really an unbelievable cool, freaking cool piece. Now, water resistance is rated at 100 meters, which does make sense. For the 90s, this isn't just, a saturation diver. It's made for surface use, for sailing, fishing, marine research, or coastal navigation. You could absolutely take this watch swimming, boating, or beachside without worry. When you have prior, of course, for that vintage piece, checked all the seals in the watch. So let's talk about how it wears. Now, let me again put it on my wrist and just get it a little bit. So like this. Let me zoom a little bit more out. Now, how does it really wear on my wrist? Look at that, M4L. Shh, it's Sigma 4L. Shh. Just kidding, guys. How does it wear? It's super comfortable. It feels like a quartz watch, guys. Like a quartz watch, so thin. I mean, it's thinner than my Rolex Daytona. Look at that. And we can argue which watch has more complications, right? Sure, we have here in-house, we have here a module-based complication movement, but still, guys, incredibly impressive, right? And to be honest, and that's probably due to the bracelet, steel bracelet of the Daytona, it does wear much, much more comfortable. And as I said, for 2025, we have a great watch here. Can enjoy and have a great time with the watch. But again, I have to emphasize, try to get, if you get the watch, of course, the ceilings checked every 1.5 years. And if you are someone that is often in salt water, I would say after every, after every deployment of the watch, have it checked for the seals, because, salt water can be very, very aggressive against your seals. Now, I believe the 40mm case is a sweet spot. I have a huge wrist. Okay, guys, I have a huge wrist. And even though on a huge wrist, I think the watch is really, really suiting me well. I truly believe the watch can be worn by people with small wrists, but also by people with tall wrists. Buddies of mine that saw me with that watch were telling me it does wear like a Smartie. You know, the little sweets that you can get in different colors. Like an M&M on my wrist because of the size. But I believe it's also the reason because of the lugs. You know, my lugs are very, very short compared to the Corum. And even though the Corum is in diameter a little bit smaller, it does wear a little bit bigger. Incredible. Really incredible. Now, the 40mm case, as I said, is a sweet spot for a lot of wrists, especially since modern dive watches tend to creep up to 42, 44 millimeters. The lugs are nicely curved. The case isn't overly thick, and the sapphire glass sits flat on top. It really feels solid, but not bulky. Paired with either, you can wear it on a rubber strap, or like I do, on this beautiful leather strap that you see here. The watch has a distinct identity. I mean, you can see me 2 miles away, and you can recognize, hey, this is not a Rolex. This is not a Cartier. This is not a Patek. This is a Corum. And some would even argue and say, wow, the complications that you see here, smart people from Corum back in the days, is more like a Patek can offer with a perpetual calendar. I know, guys, it's just an ETA movement, but I mean, I'm celebrating the watch. The watch is really something that I've never freaking seen before. And now, let's be honest. Corum isn't the first brand most people think of when it comes to mechanical innovation, right? You wouldn't say, oh, you know what? I am waking up today and woo, I'm going to buy myself a Corum. I understand that. But this thing here, guys, it's a hidden gem. No other major brand, Rolex, Omega, IWC, has ever made a fully mechanical, automatic tide tracking watch like this. You understand what I mean? And that gives the Corum tides a unique space in a horological world. It's not a diver clone, not a vintage reissue. Oh, I'm sorry, the camera is playing around. What was that? Not a vintage reissue, not a hype piece. It's its own thing, and it does something most watches simply can't. So, who is the watch really for? Well, if you are a sailor, a surfer, marine biologist, someone who likes to explore the oceans, or just someone obsessed with the ocean, I would say it's perfect. But even for collectors who want something unusual, technical, and conversation-worthy, I would say the Tides delivers. It has a real history. It was born from scientific collaboration, and it brings something totally fresh to the table. Now, you're not just wearing a watch. You're really not just wearing a watch. You are wearing a tide calculator, a moon tracker, and a piece, guys, of horological storytelling. What? In a sea of homogeneous dive watches, guys, the Corum Tides is a true original. It is a technical achievement, a design oddity, and an enthusiast dream if you know what you are looking at. Now, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this breakdown of a lesser-known marine complication, drop a comment below, guys. Would you wear this Corum Tides? Do you think tide tracking deserves more love in the watch world? And if you want a more deep dives like this, don't forget to like, to subscribe, and freaking hit that bell so you don't miss out the next one. Now, stay salty, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.